Ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey, welcome, sports fans, to the best sports podcast on the planet. I am your host, Eric, with my main man right over there. Ron, how are you tonight?
I'm actually excited because we're live tonight on Friday, but this is airing tomorrow on the radio in Atlanta.
For the first time, WDJY. So excited to be a part of their family and continue to expand our reach around the world. As we are the best sports podcast on the planet, we are live every Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rhode Island Broadcasting. Many different ways you can watch us: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. We're everywhere and anywhere. You can also listen to us anywhere on all the podcasts from Spotify, Google, Amazon, Red Circle, TuneIn. So just make sure you follow us at Rhode Island Broadcasting or at Sports Unfolded if you enjoy our show and want to be a part of it, and join us live every Friday night at 6 p.m. We do have the ticker running on the bottom. I'll tell you all the different ways that you can listen and follow us. So excited to be joining you tonight. A lot to cover in the sports world. We cover everything and anything that we possibly can. So if you want to talk about something tonight, join us on the chat as well. We'll be happy to, chat with you as well. But long as we keep it politics and religion out of it, we'll have a blast and have some fun tonight. Ron, we are going to start off with our leadoff story. And guess what? Final Four this weekend, my friend, kicks off. Look at all those great pictures. A lot of great action. We're going to talk about all four matchups, Ron. We are going to pick three of them during our prediction segment. The only reason why we're not going to do the South Carolina, NC State matchup is because that game will still be going on while we're actually on the air. So let's talk about that matchup first. So number one, South Carolina, the ladies, and number three, NC State. Your thoughts on this game? So Dawn Staley named Coach of the Year back-to-back years now. Obviously, South Carolina undefeated, what they've been able to do. But I wanted to look at some of the numbers, Ron.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. I think, to be honest with you, I think the two women's games are going to be better than the two men's.
Listen, a lot of fun. And think about this: North Carolina State in both men and women's, and UConn in both men and women's. So,
I was going to point that out. States, you beat me to it.
A lot going on in those states. So you got to only imagine, what they're feeling today. Listen, South Carolina is going to be a very difficult team to beat. Yeah. Number one in point differential, 29.6 points per game in the tournament. Fourth in rebounding, fourth in field goal percentage. Number one blocking team. Camila Cardoza, she's such a force, inside. And then obviously coaching.
Yeah, she averaged 2.5 blocks herself.
Yeah.
I mean, she is 6'7", I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, that's a force. Yeah. That's a force.
Yeah, and again, Dawn Staley, her coaching and what she's been able to bring to that South Carolina team. But NC State, let's not sleep on them. 31-6 in the regular season. To get here, they did beat the number one seed Texas in the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
And they've had 5 players during the regular season average in double digits. So they can score.
Right. It's going to take a massive game by Isaiah James.
Yeah, Isaiah James averaged 16.7 during the regular season, right? What she brings tonight is going to be so important.
She got 24.3 points in the tournament, and she's going to need every one of those points and then some.
Listen, I know we're not going to pick this in our predictions. You have a prediction for this game?
I think South Carolina is going to win. I think they're going to win handily, I think, too.
I think so. And unfortunately,
they're just too good.
Great run by NC State. And obviously, if they could beat number one Texas, you never know. Anything's possible. That's why they play these games.
That's right.
So excited about that. Let's talk about the second matchup in the women's. Number 1 Iowa versus number 3 UConn. And when I thought,
well, this is going to be the game, right? This is the
we
weekend,
hope, right?
You know?
We hope. Yeah, 9:00 tonight. Here's where I started to look at this, Ron. Think of the Bird Magic, right? When we saw that Indiana State, Michigan State, and this has the makings of the next phase of that when you talk about the women's game now with Paige Becker and Caitlin Clark. And obviously they're going to go professional as well. Do we see that same
they're fantastic. Like Caitlin Clark, obviously, she's now the all-time points holder, right? I mean, she's
men and women. So
yeah. So I mean, just saying that alone, and then you talk about Paige Becker. I mean, she's overcome injuries, and she's having a fantastic season. I mean, 22 points a game is just insane.
Yeah, I think the tournament 28. So
yeah,
you know what I mean? She's actually up there in the tournament.
This is what I like about seeing the women in the Final Four. You have 4 ladies that are just playing above and beyond what's expected. I mean, that's what it's all about. Those are stars that when they go into the WNBA, they're going to be dominant. You know, you figure what, another 2 years and those women are going to be the ones.
Yeah, we know Caitlin Clark's going into the WNBA next season, or at least we hope so, and not taking that big 3 deal that Ice Cube offered.
That would be terrible.
Paige Becker, honestly, is not, sure to follow. So it's going to be really exciting to see how these two perform against each other.
Yeah.
They were teammates before. They've been around for quite some time. They know each other pretty well. So that'll be an interesting piece. Which one can lift their team up enough? UConn decimated by injuries. They said it right after they got to the final. They won in the Elite Eight. This is like 60 points sitting on the bench right now.
Yeah.
So you think about what they've been able to accomplish. James, thanks for joining. I will say this one we will predict at the end of the show, but this is a tough pick. This is a tough pick because you want to go with the obvious, but you also know the heart and soul of UConn and what they've been through. And Gino Auriemma, look at searching for his number 12. Number 12, Ron.
Yeah.
You think about those elite. Phil Jackson, 11 in the NBA? Here's a guy, 12. And you think about college, it changes all the time. So let's talk about some of those men's games. Number 1, Purdue versus number 11, NC State.
Yeah, what NC State has done has been just out of this world. I mean, they're the 11th seed, and here they are in the Final Four, which is amazing. But like any Cinderella, it is time to go home.
Wow.
But
so you think
will they wait? Will they wait and risk turning into that pumpkin?
Yeah.
To try to get this win over Purdue? I don't know. I know we have to make the predictions, but that's going to be a tall task for NC State.
Yeah, they're running into a buzzsaw. That's right, James. Listen, they beat Duke, Marquette, and Oakland. Oakland doesn't seem like a big deal, but they beat Kentucky prior to. So you think about the talent that Kentucky had. So NC State, it's such a great story. You want to hear about, listen, Zach Edey on the other side. This kid is just a force inside.
Yeah, that's one of the pictures that we have down there on the bottom of the screen, and you just cannot. Yeah, he's he kind of reminds me of those players in the NBA that don't look like athletes.
Yeah, like a Jokic.
Like a Jokic and a Luka, you know?
Right? He's got that body type. He's not, overpowering by any means, but the kid's smart, plays well inside. The team knows what they need to do. Obviously learned from last year's mistake, losing to a 16 seed. So they've got something to prove that they belong there. Very fun game. Just for the fact, like you said, if NC State's keeping it close early, does Purdue start to feel a little pressure? Because NC State really has nothing to lose here. They are going into this with the expectation that nobody thinks they can win this.
They're playing with house money, right? I mean, this is a team that was supposed to be, eliminated, round 1?
Yeah.
And here they are plugging along in the Final Four, and they could make history here.
Yeah. Yeah, so again, that'll be tomorrow night. We will do our prediction on that game at the end of the show. What about number 1 UConn versus number 4 Alabama?
Yeah, I mean, when you think the 1-4, you're thinking, okay, this is going to be the better matchup of the men's bracket. I still like that other one. I like the NC State Purdue one better. I don't know. I think UConn's just too good. I think they're too good.
I will say this: Alabama can put up some points.
Yeah.
The issue,
but can they stop anybody?
Yeah, I think all that game. I think the biggest margin of victory was 13. So again, you keep it close with UConn. They have enough depth to honestly continue to come at you.
Yeah, they got to try to make it so that way they're within a shot, down the stretch.
Yeah.
If they can do that and they get the last shot off, they could take that shot and they can score. So
and the
that's
Alabama
what they got to hope to do.
Alabama coach said it. They cannot go out there and expect to, win this game 120 to 118. If you're giving up a lot of points, UConn also is very good defensively.
Yeah.
Alabama needs some help. They got to play out. Yeah, listen, but again, this is why we play these games, and there's a lot of pressure. UConn, little issue with the plane, got delayed flying in. Could fatigue be a factor? Less practice time. So again, I'm not saying they're not a veteran team, right? They've been there before. They're looking to go back to back, which we haven't seen in quite some time. So, but that pressure starts to build. Hotel rooms are crap too. Yeah, listen, I wouldn't doubt it, right? So it could be a very interesting. As much as Alabama can put up points. If UConn's tired early, and you know what happens when those legs, your shot.
James, as long as they don't have those cicada bugs inside the rooms, I think they'll be okay.
I will say, listen, your legs get a little tired.
Yeah, they do.
The shots don't fall as easy because, you know what I mean? You just don't have that lift. Fun game. Again, we will do the prediction at the end. But what a great Final Four weekend because all these teams, a lot of fun. And then, obviously, state of Connecticut, where I'm from, they're having a blast right now.
Look, what I do like about these matchups, Coach Phlox is in the house.
Thanks for joining.
What I do like is that when you're looking at the Final Four, there's a lot of those names, those familiar names that are missing here, right? And that's what I like about this. I mean, yes, okay, so you have UConn in there, but when you look at those teams on both sides, there's some new schools there. We're not looking at Duke. We're not looking at Kansas. This is nice. Yeah, it's nice to see.
It is about time that again, NCAA. The Final Four is always one of the biggest events in sports, but you got to enjoy that. The fact that you've got a lot of players too. Look, Zach Edey on the men's side, right, and what he's been able to do the last 2 years. Paige Becker. Caitlin Clark, right? You've got some names out there now, too, that for the next 10 to 15 years, we're still going to be talking about them. So when Sports Unfolded is on season, 25, we may still be talking about some of these players. So nothing there? Yeah, you don't think we can make it, Ron? Another 20 years?
Sure.
Once again, if you are joining us live,
what will I be?
Yeah, don't do the math, buddy. It's not pretty. Once again, if you're joining us live, if you can chat with us at any point, we'll put your chats up. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, everywhere and humanly possible live. We are also going to be broadcasting this Saturday, 1 to 3 p.m. on the radio going forward. WDJY out of Atlanta. Really excited about that. If you're in Connecticut, SEC TV, Public Access, Channel 12, we are on there as well every Tuesday night. So if you want, join us live, be a part of the show. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Sports Unfolded, at Rhode Island Broadcasting, so that you too can be a part of our family and continue to help us grow. Ron, great discussion on the NCAA Final Four. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Let's talk some NFL, my friend, because we had a big trade.
Did we really?
Stefon Diggs is no longer a Buffalo Bill. He has been traded to the Houston Texans. Who do you think won the deal?
I tend to lean towards the Texans on this.
That's cute. You know the funny thing, though? I was going to say the same thing. Right? And then I thought about this, though. Here's a problem child. Here's a guy that for the last few years, all we've heard about is how he's been difficult to work with, how he's made it, almost impossible sometimes, right? Even him and Josh Allen to get along because he thinks Josh isn't feeding him the ball enough or doing certain things. He's a chemistry buster.
I actually agree with that. And then when you got a guy that runs his mouth as much as he does, when you get the ball thrown to you in the end zone and you don't make the catch, you don't have any grounds for speaking. Period. You gotta make the catches that are thrown to you that are important in the game. And when you're dropping potential playoff wins,
yeah, I will say this,
and then you insult the team on top of it.
I am curious because, yes, it gives the Texans the number one wide receiver, but they have voided out his final 3 years of his contract.
Yeah.
So he's playing under this contract for like $22.5 million and then can become a free agent. So it's either going to A, motivate him, or B, he's just looking for the next payday.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much the Texans get out of this deal as much as we think we do.
I mean, they didn't really give up much.
Second round pick next year, which blows my mind.
Yeah.
So 2025. Houston still got 2 draft picks as well. A 6th this year, number 189, and then in the 5th round next year.
Yeah.
So I don't get it. And here's a guy that, listen, rolls out of bed, gets 100 catches a season. 107 last year, 1,183 yards, 8 touchdowns, 11.1 yards per reception. But he is 30 years old. And again, on a wide receiver side, that is usually the downside of your career. Like now you're starting to head, down the hill, not up it.
Yeah. So the voiding of the last 3 years was really peculiar. I mean, it's interesting. I think Houston really only wanted a big name, a big star receiver for this year because I think
what he does, right?
Yeah, and I think they believe they might have some players that are going to be that star soon.
Because you can also say this, C.J. Stroud, as great as we think he is, does Stefon Diggs make his job more difficult? Does that maybe hurt C.J. Stroud if he's starting to turn into one of those wide receivers? We know the divas sometimes with the wide receivers, and he's complaining about not getting the ball thrown enough. Now C.J. Stroud's forcing, balls into areas he shouldn't, or trying to do more than he can to make sure Stefon Diggs stays happy. That could hurt him. They got Mixon as well. So offensively, they've got a lot of weapons that they can play with. Stefon Diggs' numbers may go down, and you know what happens when that happens. He's not going to be happy. There's going to be some voice coming out of Houston.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, I think, I just believe that Houston has their act together, and I think the new coaching staff that was put into place here, I think they've done an excellent job in managing the games. And I think if it starts looking like a disaster, I think they cut him.
I don't think you cut him this year. You can't. Based on his cap number, that hit would kill you. That's straight $22 million.
Well, the Buffalo Bills seemed that it was okay to get hit with 31 million on their cap.
Yeah.
So
maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. We'll have to see how it turns out. Right now, Houston, like the third overall odds to win the Super Bowl. Like it's ridiculous.
Well, maybe they'll trade him to the Patriots.
What they've done. I would have taken him. What do you got now? Nothing. Anyway, let's talk. Kendrick Bourne, baby. Bring it. Let's talk about another wide receiver. Rashee Rice. I'm not sure you got the opportunity
I got
to watch
to see
this
this
video. So he was involved in a hit and run accident. 6 cars involved. Decided he was going to just take off. Both vehicles were registered to him. The Corvette that he was racing as well. How do you think the NFL should punish Mr. Rice?
Oh, I think they're going to come down hard on him. It's more because there were other vehicles besides those 2 that were involved in the accident, and then they fled on foot. It'll be interesting to see if he tried to say that the cars were stolen.
No, he admitted he was driving them. So
okay. So he did admit it.
I will ask this, though. 5 days later, alcohol, drugs possibly involved, had to stay away. So I would question that. I would also question the fact that, again, some of these people are already enabling his lawyer. You know, he's just a young man, made a mistake. You smacked up 4 other cars besides your 2, and you decided the best option was to run away. Knowing that who you were and that we were gonna figure it out. They were gonna figure it out at some point. How's this stain the Kansas City Chiefs? Do you think this affects them at all? Obviously, probably a suspension coming down the line here.
Well, I think it does affect them because they just had a recent problem as well, family-wise. I want to say it was Andy Reid's son or something.
It was. Yep. Listen, he just got out of prison, his son. But again, he had a car accident and killed a child. I think critically injured a child. You know, so it was something insane like that.
He didn't serve. He's only served a year, 2 years,
year and a half. It was like barely.
The family was pissed.
Right, so that they have to kind of show some kind of. So if the NFL comes down and gives him 6 games. It could be more, but I'm just saying, do you think the Kansas City Chiefs add to that based on what happened with Andy Reid's son?
No. The NFL teams, to me, haven't earned the right to giving them the benefit of the doubt anymore because the chances are he's going to serve his suspension if he gets one. He's going to serve his suspension and that'll be that. And then he'll be inserted into the lineup just like every day. And that will be all. And they'll try to squash the topic, right? Now, whether or not this is worse than deflated footballs remains to be seen.
Don't get me started again on this. I will say this. The fact, first of all, Rashee Rice isn't like a superstar. So I could see the NFL come down a little harder on him because now I'm starting to look at, and I know I'm jumping topics here, Major League Baseball with a Shohei Ohtani. And this thing is kind of slid under the rug with the gambling, and now you hear about the baseball. I don't know if you heard about the baseball.
Yeah, that's part of my final thoughts.
Okay. So I will say this, Ron. If this was Patrick Mahomes, which I think Patrick Mahomes is much smarter than this, but I'm just saying, if this was a Patrick Mahomes, this would not even you'd be hearing about it as, just a simple accident and they move on from it. I think they'll come down hotter on this kid because of who he is and the fact that he's not a major star. But it goes to show you that, again, there's these biases when it comes to superstars in all these sports leagues because they bring you money.
Absolutely. And we see it all the time. It's no different. I mean, when you think about it, think about Ray Lewis, the trouble that he had. How fast was that swept under the rug? And
we don't talk about Ray Lewis. He might come after us. We're next.
What?
He might come after us. Ray Lewis. No.
Oh, please.
He could be nominated for the NFL Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. So keep.
Yeah, he could be.
Stay tuned for
Yeah, you should stay tuned real soon.
But again, you to your point, yeah, there's certain guys that just kind of it went under the radar. And
yeah.
I don't think this will happen in this case, but again, and then this kid's career and future. Now this sticks with you. I mean, the blessing of this, nobody got seriously injured, but there were injuries. And maybe he learns from this, or maybe this is just a path that we're going to continue to see. We'll have to, find out exactly. Well, there'll be more to this story, obviously.
Yeah, I'm sure there will.
All right, my friend. NFL talk. Do you want to talk about the NFL Hall of Fame?
Yes, absolutely.
So we have opened the polls. They are on Sports Unfolded Facebook page. You can join in and help us vote for our next nominee or inductee to the NFL Hall of Fame for Sports Unfolded. And those nominees are Joe Montana, Dan Marino, Peyton Manning, Emmitt Smith, Ray Lewis. Voting has started now. It will end on April 11th. You can also email us at ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com if you want to cast a vote that way. Or you can post a comment on this show and let us know who you vote for. We will add those votes as well and continue to make sure that we have Sports Unfolded. Ron, I don't know if you want to bring up our current inductees into our NFL Hall of Fame here.
Actually, I do not have the photo.
I am bringing it right to you now. These are our current NFL inductees, and we got in baseball, Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, and Willie Mays. In hockey, Bobby Orr, Mario Lemieux, and Wayne Gretzky. Tennis, Martina Navratilova and Pete Sampras. Football, we've got Barry Sanders, Jerry Rice, and Lawrence Taylor. Soccer, or internationally football, Mia Hamm and Pele. Basketball, Bill Russell, Irvin Magic Johnson, and Michael Jordan. In auto racing, Mario Andretti and Richard Petty. So those are our current inductees into our Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. We are going to add 2 new members next week. So please, again, stay tuned for that. Really excited. And we will have our NBA shortly as well and let you know who those nominees are. Ron, it is time for some starting.
It's nice that the fans actually get a say.
No curling Hall of Fame. James, you are correct, my friend. If you want to nominate a curling Hall of Fame, let us know who that we can.
We'll have a category with miscellaneous sports. So there will be a time where you see some other people in there.
Right, cycling.
For like cricket.
Right. Yeah,
rugby.
Curling could be up there, man.
Swimming.
Yeah, oh yeah, right. We got it. Yeah, there's some guy that we probably should put in there for swimming.
Yeah,
I think at some point.
There's some people.
All right, my friend. We are going to go on to our starting 5 right now.
5, 3, 2, 1.
Our starting 5 tonight. WNBA. Let's give some love to the ladies. We are looking at. They had to have led the WNBA in points per game for a season. Pole vaulting, Sergei Bubka. Okay. All right.
Oh, I know who he is.
We will definitely get that in there, James. So, starting 5 WNBA point per game leaders for a season. Some great names. You are first, Ron, this week. If you want to give us your honorable mentions.
All right, so my honorable mentions, this is quite a list, by the way. I have Katie Smith on my honorable mention.
Did not make my list. Very good. She was very good.
Yeah, well, I mean, 7-time All-Star and 2-time champion.
Yep.
I put her in there.
Okay.
Breanna Stewart is on my honorable mention. Yes.
Okay.
Aja Wilson.
Made my honorable mention. Yes.
Tina Charles is an honorable mention. And Cynthia Cooper did not make it. She was on the bubble.
I'm kind of curious who you had because Simone Augusta. honorable
Augustus.
mention, four-time champion, but only 15 points per game. Didn't and Ella Deladon did not make my list. 7-time All-Star, one-time champion. Did not make my list as well. So, all right, let's start off with your number 5. Who'd you have at 5?
Yeah, my number 5 was Simone Augustus. I put her in there. 8-time All-Star, 4 championships, 15.4 points per game, 3.1 boards, and 2.3 assists. Shot 48%, but she's an All-Star and an All-Star every season. Pretty much every season, not every season, but 8 All-Stars is pretty damn good. And when I did all my point system out, she came out with 12 points, and I slotted her in at number 5.
The old Ron point system.
That's right.
All
it's
right.
better than that Tommy point.
Don't disrespect Tommy.
I'm not disrespecting
right.
him, but it's better. He just hands them out willy-nilly.
Oh, boy. All right, at 5 for me.
Wait. Is that a postcard? I mean, a Christmas card not getting from Tommy now? Not that he could send one anyway.
Wow.
Too soon?
I think we're going off the rail already. Listen.
Atlanta, you're going to love us.
Oh, yeah, you believe me, we are comedic relief sometimes. We need it in this world. At number 5 for me, Ron, Lauren Jackson.
Wow.
18.9 points, 7.7 rebounds, 1.4 assists. I loved 3-time MVP, 7-time All-Star, 2-time champ. 3 times she was the most valuable player in the WNBA. I will take that any day of the week.
Yeah, but how? Okay. All right.
That's who I had
Stunned.
at 5.
Yeah, okay.
Who do you have at 4?
Number 4, I had Elena Deladon. Deladon. I love her numbers. I mean, those are fantastic numbers as soon as I find them. 19.5 points per game, 6.7 boards, and 1.9 assists. 2-time MVP, 7 All-Stars, and 1 championship. I mean, those are fantastic numbers. Those are fantastic.
Yeah, and I think I went Jackson because of the 2 championships over Deladon and then 1 more MVP.
Yeah.
But I digress. At 4 for me, and again, you think about her career and which she could have been. She actually, Maya Moore. I had Maya Moore at 4, and her career could have even been better. Again, you think about selflessness and what she, was able to do to try to get a man free from a murder conviction, and was able to do so and ended up getting married. And it's a great story. If you haven't seen it, check it out. But again, at 4 for me, 18.4 points, 5.9 rebounds, 3.3 assists, a 1-time MVP, 6-time All-Star, 4-time WNBA champ. 4 times. So really impressive. And again, I just think her numbers weren't enough to get me ahead of the other 3 that I had above her.
Yeah, well, I had her at number 3. I like those championships. And 18.9 points to go along with those 4 championships are pretty damn good. 1 MVP, of course, like you said. I mean, there's some MVPs on this entire list. So they're sharing that MVP trophy with everybody. And so that was it was an important factor for me, but when I'm dealing with I think all the ones that I had in there all had MVPs, and
mine as well.
I mean, if you get one, that's good.
Special.
And the same thing with the championships. If you got one, that puts you in the mix.
Four.
And she had 4, so she was all up in that mix. And a Hall of Famer to be soon. She's got to be in the Hall of Fame.
Agreed. Maybe the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. At number 3, Ron, I had Breonna Stewart. And I don't know how you did not have her make your list. 20.8 points per game.
It was hard.
7 rebounds, 3.1 assists, a 2-time MVP,
Yep.
a Commissioner Cup MVP in 2021,
Yep.
5-time All-Star, 2-time champion. She also led the league so far in her career 3 times in points. That made a difference for me because the 3 that I have up here all were the most in points.
Yeah, and
so
it's like I'm looking at all these All-Stars and championships and MVPs. It was very difficult, and I don't know, I just didn't get her in there.
Okay, all right. So who's that 2, Ron?
Number 2, I have. You might be shocked at this, Diana Taurasi.
I am definitely shocked at this
because I think you have her at number 1. I put her at number 2.
You are off your rocker right now.
1 MVP, 10-time All-Star, 3-time champion, 19.1 points per game, 3.9 boards, 4.3 assists. I mean, the numbers speak for itself. But I had her at number 2.
Disgusting.
I had number 2.
All right. At 2, I had Cynthia Cooper. 21 points per game, 3.3 rebounds, 4.9 assists, a 2-time MVP, 3-time All-Star, 4-time champion. Again, 3 times has led the league in points per game as the leader. Cynthia Cooper, one of the greatest when this league started. So I went Cynthia Cooper at 2. So I need to know, Ron, because I am on the edge of my seat at who you have for number 1.
Yeah, I have actually Lauren Jackson at number 1.
Wow.
Look, 3-time MVP.
Is your number 1. I don't think we've ever had that happen in the starting 5.
Yeah, well, I looked at it. She has 3 MVPs. The only one on the list with 3. Only one. 7-time All-Star. And this is where I broke it down. I looked at her versus Diana Taurasi, and that was the thing that was the decision to make. And she had 2 more MVPs, 3 less All-Stars, and 1 less championship. The points were basically the same. It's 18.9, 19.1. But those 3 MVPs, that means she's the best player in the league 3 times as opposed to 1 for Diana Taurasi. So I put Lauren Jackson at number 1. And look, these players on this list, they're all great players. And they're, as far as I'm concerned, I think the 10 names that we gave should be in the Hall of Fame.
So I will say this. Diana Taurasi at number 1 for me, and there's no question. Hands above. Because not only, think about it, she's still playing today.
Yeah.
19.1 points, 3.9 rebounds, 4.3 assists. The 1 MVP. 10-time All-Star, most of everybody on this list.
Yeah.
3-time champion. But, Ron, also the only player in NBA history to lead the league 4 times in points per game.
Yeah.
And Ron is the number 1 all-time with 25.3 points per game.
Exactly, I know.
So you think about it, she dominated one year where there was nobody that's even come close to her in points per game. Diana Taurasi is phenomenal.
Yeah, and it's like when you look at these names, like I say, they're all Hall of Famers in my book. They're all Hall of Famers. And there's a couple of players that have just recently gotten that league lead in points that they could end up having some great careers too. I mean, the future is bright, especially when you see what's going to be coming out of the college ranks this year. The WNBA, to me, is the most solid league that features women as the athletes. I think it's very solid. It's not going anywhere for forever. I think it's staying around because it's a great game to watch.
Yeah. Love to see expansion in the WNBA. I think it's time. Love to see a few more teams in there. What a great list. Great amount of players there. We're going to continue with the NBA theme and talk some National Basketball Association, my friend. And Julius Randle is having season-ending shoulder surgery. How does this affect the Knicks for the playoff run? So currently the Knicks are 5th in the Eastern Conference, but they're technically tied for 4th with Orlando. If the season ended today, 4-5 matchup, Orlando gets home court, New York would face them.
First round elimination.
Wow. Not
First
giving him a
round
shot,
elimination.
huh?
No, I'm not giving him a shot. Because the only way they have a shot is if they can take that 4th spot and then play at home. But I don't think they can hold on to the 4th spot. I think they might drop a little further as well.
Well,
So,
Randall hasn't played for quite some time. And
I
they've
know.
maintained. What I will say is this, Ron. They're only a half game behind Cleveland for 3.
Yeah.
They
But
need
I
to
don't
get
think
to
they're
the
going to
3
hold
spot.
it. I don't think they're going to hold it.
See, I think that's where the key is. Can they get to 3? Then they face Indiana. Again, if Indiana stays at 6, I think that's a better matchup. Plus, you're at home. You think
Yeah.
about this with Randall, though.
How many games are left?
Probably 6. I think 6 to 8, somewhere in there. Think about this. Julius Randle, in the 46 games he did play with the Knicks, 24 points per game, second to only Brunson. Jalen Brunson having a phenomenal season. Think about that pickup for them. What a great job. Dante DiVincenzo is 15.3 points. He's third. So you think about the drop. 9.2 rebounds per game, was second on the team. 5 assists per game, second on the team. He had the second most shot attempts on the team.
Yeah.
And was shooting 47.2%. That is a big, no pun intended, shoe to fill for New York. I don't know if, there's enough guys to step up to get the productivity. So I agree with you. This could be very devastating because I think the plan was originally to see if he could work himself back into playing by the playoffs.
Yeah.
And
if he's not there, they just don't have enough to beat the teams that are ahead. And for that matter, I'm not sure they'd be able to beat a team like Indiana.
Yeah, they may not. And again, listen, right now in the East, you can't say, and I'm probably going to jinx them, and then everybody's going to come at me. But Boston by far has shown that they are the top of the class when it comes to the Eastern Conference. I don't know if there's any team realistically, if Boston's playing their game, can beat them. I think the Knicks would have had a little more toughness, maybe defensively. I think that would have made it more difficult for Boston. But I don't even know if they would have got past, to your point, if they got to the Eastern Conference Finals, per se, and had to face Boston, that they would have enough with Julius Randle.
Yeah. Look, what they've done this year has been great, right? It's nice to see a Knicks team that has a purpose.
Spike Lee can actually enjoy sitting.
No, I don't care about Spike Lee.
Come on.
I don't care about them.
Wow.
But,
Right,
it's just nice to see that the Knicks are a team to contend with. They are a good team. Not great. Good.
Yeah. This very interesting. Jalen Brunson has turned that whole organization around. Which when they made that signing, I did not think that was going to happen. So great move by them. Ron, let's talk a little bit about this Sports Unfolded NBA Hall of Fame nominees as well.
Again, this is a dandy. Wait to see this list.
Join us on our Sports Unfolded Facebook page to vote, or email us at ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com, or post on our comments to let us know who you're voting for. And the nominees for the Sports Unfolded NBA Hall of Fame, which ends on the 11th, so you have 1 week. Larry Bird, Wilt Chamberlain, John Stockton, Tim Duncan, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That is a tough group of candidates.
Yeah, and I'll even add to it, there is really no wrong answer, but I mean, if there was one name that stuck out that would be a wrong answer, would be the one right in that middle. Now, I love the player, but
John Stockton, one of the best all-time in assists and steals.
I know, but
deserves it.
He does deserve it. I'm saying they all deserve it, but he's the one to me that sticks out like a sore thumb, and it's like anybody else, I have to flip a coin.
Ron. Let's
so
bring
no Christmas card from John.
Let's bring up our current inductees as well. Once again, you can see this on the Twitter page right now on Sports Unfolded. In our basketball right now, Bill Russell, Irvin Magic Johnson, and Michael Jordan. So one of these 5 players will join them on our Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame inductees. So excited. Continue to help
there's
us.
an Atlanta guy in there, so all of you fans that are listening on the radio on Saturday, Hank Aaron is there.
Hank Aaron, one of the greatest to do it in baseball. Again, we are on WDJY on Saturdays between 1 and 3. You can watch us live every Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rhode Island Broadcasting through Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. So many different ways you can watch us. So continue to follow us. If you're joining us live, guys, we want to hear, what do you think about the NBA Sports Unfolded nominees? That is a tough one. I don't know, man. I don't know how anybody makes a decision on this one.
Yeah.
To your point, all great nominees.
They're all great.
All right, my friend.
John Stockton, I'd say, to be one of the top 5 point guards of all time. Top 5. That's pretty awesome.
I know, buddy. I know.
I mean, Magic to me is one.
All right, let's talk some Major League Baseball, Ron. Oakland A's will no longer be in Oakland come next season. About 3 years in Sacramento. I think that's the stadium there. Let me ask you this. Is this the right decision?
No. It's a terrible decision because no one is going to go to a game. I mean, they're having a hard time getting people going to a game now.
They're averaging less than 6,500 fans right now in Oakland.
Yeah. And they have a group that's boycotting them. So,
Ron, so I looked at it this way. You spend $60 million in payroll.
Yeah.
They are dead last in Major League Baseball. They are $25 million less than the next lowest team.
Right.
I don't care what stadium you put. You can put them in a sandlot right now and tell people it's free and you're not going to get people to go. Put a product on the field that people want to see.
Yep.
And I think that's where Major League Baseball really has to pressure some of these teams to make.
What I don't understand is why are they not playing games in Las Vegas area?
Right. I would have just said find a stadium around there then.
Get a college stadium there. Work it out so that way they can have their games there. And if there's any conflicts, then you use another college team in the area. There is teams, there's Nevada. They have colleges there. They do have colleges. And they do play baseball. So they have fields available.
You might as well get them over there now, because once the gambling thing starts in Oakland, no longer the Oakland. They can't even be called Oakland. They're just going to be called the Athletics for the next 3 years. They're not even attaching them to a city.
Right.
I don't understand what's going on.
The Athletics Baseball Club.
Formerly known as. They're going to do like a Prince thing and have like a symbol. Right? Like, what are we doing? Now we can't even attach them to a city. Let's get as low as possible for the A's. You got no fans. You refuse to pay anybody to play for you. Now we're not even going to give you a city name. You're just known as the Athletics. I don't get what Major League Baseball is doing with this. It's
not even going to be their. The sad part is not even going to be their team name, probably.
They said they're keeping the Athletics, the name.
Are they really?
The team name. Then it'll be Las Vegas Athletics.
Because then they can just do the A-Z's.
See, I would have done Las Vegas Gamblers.
No, I wouldn't have done that.
Why not?
Bandits.
Oh, the Bandits.
Bandits, because that's what those slot machines are. No, the Bandits, because those slot machines, those are called one-arm bandits back in the day. One-arm bandits.
Very good. Wow.
So that's what they should have done.
Thank you for the history lesson, Ron. Those people out there that didn't know that, you're a little smarter today.
Yeah, see? I try to bring knowledge.
You bring knowledge. Yeah. Listen, I'm disgusted with Major League Baseball right now anyway, but all right, Ron.
I'm disgusted with most sports right now.
All right, Ron. Listen, it is time for split decisions.
Oh, I got a good one.
So our split decision segment, basically, we give each other two more likely scenarios, and we have to make a decision on what we think is going to happen. If you'd like to be a sponsor of our split decision segment, get your name right above me right here. Let us know. Email us at ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. We will give you all the information on how you could get your name up there, and Ron will explain it again later in the show. Ron, you are first this week. What is your first split decision?
All right. What did we just end with?
Baseball.
All right. So, who is more likely to be... Oh, nope. Sorry. Of the three teams... almost read the wrong one. Of the three teams leading their division currently, who is more likely to stay in first place?
I almost have the same question. Yeah.
Los Angeles Angels,
Okay.
Detroit Tigers, or the New York Yankees?
More likely to stay on top.
Yes. Yes.
Angels, Tigers, Yankees. Oh my. Ooh. Tigers.
Really?
Only because I think it's the weaker of the divisions. Like who's what? Minnesota. What's Cleveland? You know what I mean? Like there's no like
Kansas City's,
Oh, there you go. Sorry, I take it back.
Chicago White Sox?
I take it back. Right? So I would go Detroit.
Yeah.
Only because of that. I think they're in the least competitive division.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I would go Tigers.
I get it.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Mine is also a baseball. Which team is more likely to stay at the top of the AL East this season? The New York Yankees or the Boston Red Sox, both in first and second place right now currently.
It's bizarro world.
Right? We talked about baseball. We're like, these teams are...
I'm gonna say the Yankees.
I don't know
because
scrappy.
Scrappy, yeah, they beat up on Oakland.
The Athletics.
Oh boy,
you can't say. Oh.
Yeah, whatever. That yellow and green team.
It's like Twitter now going to X. It's not even a name. It's just a letter.
They're gonna have to play a good team probably next because they're gonna make them look good. I have no faith in this pitching staff. None.
Okay. All right. So you're going New York
Yankees.
All right. Your second split decision.
Who is more likely to be upset in the first round? Denver Nuggets, Milwaukee Bucks, or the Boston Celtics? That's a tough one.
You're not going to... This is going to sound absolutely insane. I'll say Denver. And because I still think, like, I can't get out of my... Like, the Warriors might be the 8th seed. And I could see the Warriors beating them. I'm not saying it's... But I could see it. Like, I could see Golden State beating them. I don't think the East right now... I don't see Boston and Milwaukee. I'm not... I think... I don't know. I could see
Don't forget,
more likely.
Look, you got to look at it this way, because Miami is in the play-in matches, right? What if Miami gets one of those spots to play either the Celtics or the Milwaukee Bucks? We saw it happen last year.
Yeah, but I don't know. Butler's not been the same. I would go Denver only because of Golden State.
Okay.
Because I could see Golden State. All right,
That's
Ron.
interesting.
You know what's interesting is that I have a basketball one as well. Look at this tonight. Who is more likely to win NBA Coach of the Year? Joe Mazzulla of the Boston Celtics, Chris Finch of the Minnesota Timberwolves, or Mark Daigneault of the Oklahoma City Thunder? Or, one more, Mike Malone of the Denver Nuggets.
I'm going to go Deneau. Mark Deneau.
Okay.
Of OKC.
Really? Even though the best record in the league, Boston Celtics.
But they're supposed to be there. Oakland's not supposed to be there.
OKC? Okay. You're obsessed with Oakland. You said Oakland.
Yeah, well,
Let them go, Oakland.
Oh, did I say Oakland?
Yeah, it's just the Athletics. We can't say Oakland anymore. So you think OKC? I could see that though.
Yeah.
Right? Who expected that? Right?
Because they're not supposed to be there.
And they still might get the West #1 seed. Like that's all up in the air.
They could.
All up in the air.
See, so I'll get some Christmas cards from those folks.
You find somebody might finally like you. It doesn't happen too often.
Yeah, so Atlanta, hopefully, you send us like a Christmas card or something.
Sports Unfolded.
I'm sure I'll end up
coming at you.
Coming at you soon, but not yet, not first.
I'm actually going to be. I'm going to be in Atlanta on Sunday. So
autograph signing.
I'm doing a little promo action. No, I wish. But if I'm down there, I might have to mention it to a few people. Like, hey, I might be on the radio. All right, Ron. It is time for some National Hockey League NHL action. We're going to talk about the New York Rangers and the New Jersey Devils. They recently had a game. Gloves come off right at the drop of the puck. 5 fights, 8 ejections. Do you like this in hockey? Is this a good thing for hockey?
Well, look, I like fights. Okay, I like the fights in the game. I think it needs to be in the game, but it has to be done the right way. This is not the right way. 2 seconds into the game is ridiculous. That is because of that clown that the Rangers have on their team. What is it? Rempe. He's garbage. Okay, he's just basically he runs his mouth and he tries to fight everybody. This is what the news is on the Rangers now. It's who's Rempe fighting in the next game. That's what they talk about. And that's this is what happens because of that. And this guy is not good. This is them just saying, oh, look what Florida did last year, so we're going to try to bully our way to the Stanley Cup. That's what they decided. And they got this clown. At least the Florida Panthers have skill. Their tough guys have skill. This guy is a clown, and he's making a mockery, and the fighting is not even warranted. Not at 2 seconds in the game.
I don't understand. First of all, why 10 players technically had to fight.
Yeah.
The only 2 that didn't fight were the goaltenders. But then, on top of it, he got suspended for 4 games for the hit that they ultimately were upset with. It was a high elbow. They took out, knocked out their guy. I get it. But then just fight him. Why did it have to be all of them fighting?
Well, that's not the one that started first. It was the Lazar, former Bruin. He got into the fight first with a player, and then everybody else threw down. But it was all planned for that first fight.
Yeah.
But actually, those players were smart to do it first. And I'll tell you why. Because in the league now, there's a rule. If a secondary fight happens, they get thrown out of the game. They get a game misconduct. So all of those other 8 players got thrown out of the game.
But this is my point. I don't know if they were all starters. But if I paid as a fan, I'm just saying now, I'm thinking on the other side of it. I paid as a fan. 8 players in 2 seconds got thrown out.
Right.
I just paid a ticket to watch all the second line come in because you basically allowed your players to get thrown out of the game.
Yeah, and Trouba was one of them that got thrown out. Now, you look at this. Okay, so 4 defensemen get thrown out of the game. You have 4 defensemen now on each team to play the entire game. And you're missing a line. The risk is too much. And frankly, it was dumb. It was dumb.
Yeah, I first of all, too, they don't really get good shots in most of the time. It's more like it's like I'm watching the replay, and it's what's it, Disney on Ice, where they do the little dancing and they're all going around, and I'm like, hey, look at that. And no, wait, that's an NHL game, and those are players trying to fight.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? I can't.
No, see, I I like the fight that happens because of something. You know, you're getting basically outplayed in a game,
I
and
agree. Yeah.
you
And
got
now
a
you
guy
wanna-
that goes out there and gets a big hit, and they start jawing at you. You drop the gloves, you get into a fight. That gets
Agreed.
your team going.
Agreed.
All right, I like the fact that if you get into a fight, because the other team takes a run at your player. Doesn't even matter if they're the good player or, bench players or whatever. If they take a run at your player, you need to do something. And I don't mind a fight that starts, because of that. But this planned before the game kind of fight is stupid. It shouldn't be in the game. And I like brawls. I mean, I remember the Boston Ranger game where they're up in the stands. That was like the best thing ever. Right, but that one, it was planned, and I don't like it, and the teams should be fined for it, to be honest with you. Okay. And that player is just a goon. He's a goon.
And then some guys in the NHL, that's what they are.
Yeah,
and I get it, but again, I still like what baffled me is why everybody seemed like they wanted to like that plan, like you said, we're all gonna do it.
Oh, it was definitely planned.
You know what I mean? Why didn't it just, hey, we're going to go after him? Okay, I would have been fine with that. Then it makes sense to me. Yeah. And especially right now with the Rangers where they are in the playoff standings and how important it is. Like, don't do something stupid where somebody could have got hurt. And then what point did you prove at that?
Yeah, and what they're doing, they're putting a big target on their back, right? I mean, the Rangers have this goon in their lineup, and they don't need to.
Bless you.
And they don't need to. And, like I said, they're trying to, they look to see what Florida did last year, and they bullied their way through. But they bullied with quality players. I don't like Matthew Tkachuk, but he is one of the best players in the league. Okay? So, when players like that are bullying you, that is fine. And I didn't like it when the Bruins got bullied last year, but you have to respect that team for that reason, that they're not just, goons. They're out there, they are skilled players with toughness, and that's what you need. And Rangers did the opposite thing, and they got some goon, and it's making a market. Every team hates them. Every team.
Yep, I agree. All right, Ron, we are going to talk some pick and roll, my friend.
It's time for pick and roll.
So our pick and roll segment, basically, we have to make our picks and then we roll with them. Little hiccup this week. Yours truly messed up, and I, for some reason, thought we were on episode 13. We're on episode 14. Fantastic Four, season 4. But so we're going to stick with our pick and roll.
But it is your 13th.
It is my 13th. That's where it is. Yes, I missed an episode. So that may be where my mentality was. So at some point in time, these players had a 13-sack season. And we are talking some greats here. Kevin Green, Howie Long, Bruce Smith, Lawrence Taylor, Reggie White, and Jason Taylor. We are going to rank them from 6 to 1, Ron. You are first. Your pick and roll, and then I will tell all the wonderful people out there, including Atlanta, the right pick and roll.
So you know what the 53 number means here? 53 Pro Bowls.
Wow. Isn't that insane?
That's
6
crazy.
players. Yeah.
That just shows how hard of a list this was. And I'll tell you, I would love to have any one of these players on my team.
Yeah.
Anyone. In fact, the Patriots are going to stink so bad, I wish all these players could be on the team even at their age now.
Now. Yeah.
Now. So that's how good this list is. All right, so it was tough, but I have Kevin Green with his 669 solo tackles and 160 sacks. 5 interceptions, by the way. 5 Pro Bowls and 2 All-Pro. He is my number 6. And when you're starting out at number 6 with Kevin Green, that says something about a lot of these other players too. Number 5, Jason Taylor. I remember him being a menace to the Patriots. 139 and a half.
He played against.
Yes. 139 and a half sacks, 536 solo tackles, 46 forced fumbles. 46. And I swear half of them are against the Patriots.
Probably.
8 interceptions. He's got 9 touchdowns, by the way.
Wow.
9 touchdowns. 6 Pro Bowls. 3 All-Pro. 1 Defensive Player of the Year. All these guys, by the way, are Hall of Famers, so that's all even. Number 4, I have Howie Long. 91 and a half sacks, 2 interceptions. I mean, his numbers really weren't
They didn't really
up there
count
like Kevin Green, and they didn't count tackles back then. So I'm looking at what I saw him play, and not to mention he has a Super Bowl, 8 Pro Bowls, 2 All-Pro. I put him at number 4 because I think that's where, I think he was better than the other 2. I'm not so sure how much better, but I'll put him there. Number 3, I have Bruce Smith, and 200 sacks, 1,075 solo tackles. He didn't need much help. He did need more to get some Super Bowls, though, because he has none.
Come on. There goes the whole fans in Buffalo.
43 forced fumbles, only 3 behind Taylor.
4 in a row, you lose in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. And that's the thing, you go to the Super Bowl, so he gets a lot of that credit. 11 Pro Bowls, 8 All-Pro. 8 All-Pro. That's a ridiculous number. 2 Defensive Players of the Year. I put him at number 3. Number 2, this was hard. 1 and 2 was so close, so close. I put Reggie White at number 2.
The wrong point system.
Look, it's crazy because I normally take points away for not playing, enough games. But Lawrence Taylor's numbers are so close to Reggie White's, and Reggie White played 50 more games. The man played less games, and he's putting up these numbers that are crazy. 9 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, 142 sacks. They didn't have the tackles, but I'm sure it was over 1,000. I swear he tackled the quarterback at least 1,000 times. So, 10 Pro Bowls, 8 All-Pro, and 2 Super Bowls for Lawrence Taylor. He had one more. He had 1 more Defensive Player of the Year, same amount of All-Pro, 3 less Pro Bowls than Reggie White, but played many years less. So I went with Lawrence Taylor, number 1.
Wow, we didn't see this. We didn't see this the same at all. At 6, I had Howie Long, and I just, again, without knowing the tackle.
Yeah.
Granted, he had the championship, but and 8 Pro Bowls, 2 All-Pros. But I put Kevin Green at 5. I like the tackle, 23 forced fumbles, 160 sacks. So you're looking at about 70 sacks more than Howie Long. I know it's a different game then, in different position. But also had a UPI Defensive Player of the Year. So I gave him, credit for that as well. I went Jason Taylor at 4. 139 and a half sacks. You said at 46. That 46 forced fumble is ridiculous. You're right. Probably half against the Patriots. He was also an AP Defensive Player of the Year and the PFWA Defensive Player of the Year. So I gave him a little nod there. This is where it got really weird for me, though. And you're probably going to, fall off your chair right now. I had Lawrence Taylor at 3. And I don't, the sack numbers and I know you said it, he played last, but for 142 and a half sacks versus the other two that one hit 200, one was just under 200. That's almost 60 more sacks. Yes, the 10 Pro Bowls, the 8 All-Pros, AP MVP, a
Two
PFW
Super Bowls.
MVP, 2 Super Bowl champions. Like the guys, I would put him in my top 5 all time of players, period. Quarterback, what I love LT and what he meant to the game. But I couldn't put him ahead of Bruce Smith at 2. 200 sacks, Ron, is ridiculous. Like, that is just a number that I couldn't get over and pass.
So basically, if you look back at the other show that we did, you would have Adam Vinatieri ahead of Lawrence Taylor.
Based on what?
Based on the fact that you put Adam Vinatieri ahead of Bruce Smith in the other one.
That's not what I'm saying.
But that's the fact.
No. I think Adam Vinatieri, if he was on this list, may be ahead of Lawrence Taylor. I don't know. But for this list, Bruce Smith's ahead of LT. At 1, I put the minister, Reggie White. And
it was a tough choice.
I really like those 13 Pro Bowls. And I know we think Pro Bowls, but back then they actually played.
Back then it was actually meaningful.
They played.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was one of the best, I still will never forget, like, some of his just...
Oh, I love the player.
He could throw a guy that was 250 pounds. Like, the guy was, one of us. So, Reggie White, what a great player, though.
They are all great players.
It was tough. That was a tough list.
They're all Hall of Famers, and they all deserve to be in there.
Yeah. Listen, and honestly, I'm glad we did it. I'm glad we did this one and didn't switch it. We had some fun with that list. That was a good list.
No, it's a great list. I'm looking at the list, and I've watched every single one of these players play. I got to enjoy their careers and the menacing face that those offenses are facing when they're looking at that guy just ready to go and wants a piece of you.
And I would say that, like, one of the first bad guys for me that I could think of is like the Howie Long. Like, he was just a bad, like, you didn't like him. And it created that whole Raiders thing for me. Like, you just didn't like them because of him.
They were snarly and mean and nasty.
And you always said they cheated, even though the tuck rule worked in our favor in that game. That's not the point. And I lost all. There we go. Some Christmas cards lost there too, Ron.
Yeah.
All right, my friend. What a great discussion. What a great list. Again, if you're joining us live, we are live every Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rhode Island Broadcasting. Again, you can Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Pick your platform. Join us live. You can chime in. We are about to do our prediction segment where you get to pick and get on our list. So you could have some fun with that as well. We are now on the radio WDJY in Atlanta on Saturdays. We are on SEC TV, Public Access, Channel 12 on Tuesdays in Connecticut, Southeast Connecticut. So a lot going on there.
Maybe next week, can we do the predictions so that way none of the games are on Friday? So that way maybe the people on the radio can also send in their predictions?
Absolutely. Or they can join us live on Friday nights at 6 p.m.
Well, they could.
And I think that would be even better.
Well,
but I can definitely do that because if there's a great game on Friday, Ron, we wouldn't be able to do the Iowa UConn game tonight.
So what I'm saying is, so tomorrow when it airs, anything that hasn't been played yet, maybe they can
let us know. Comment, email us ribroadcasting.media
absolutely
@gmail.com. So many different ways you can definitely do that. Ron, it is time to bring up those predictions, though. And that
you can also just send me shoot a message on Rhode Island Broadcasting on Facebook.
Absolutely.
And I can get that message as well.
So let's look at these predictions, Ron, and see where we stand. You are having a rough start.
I'm having a rough start of this year. Oh, this is brutal.
I don't think you've ever been under 50%, and now you're still running 4 games under 500, my friend.
Yeah.
3-5 last week. I actually had a top 5 driver. This guy, again, that's 2 I will take it.
Yep.
Kenny back in winning ways 5-2 last week. I was 500 at 4-4. But again, if you are joining us live and want to get your name on this list, let us know who you pick. We will make sure we add you to the list. James, hopefully you're still there. James, Coachy, hopefully you're still there as well. Ron, it is prediction time. I am excited. We are starting off with some NBA. And 4-9, you got the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, I gotta find my list here.
Are we voting on the?
No. I'm putting it up there just so they can.
All right. Boston Celtics at the Milwaukee Bucks. That's on the 9th of this month.
Yeah, this is going to be at Milwaukee, huh? I'm going to take Milwaukee.
Lewis,
and I'll tell you why, because I think that there is a possibility that some of the players may have like a little injury.
Okay, so you're going Milwaukee, you said.
I'm going Milwaukee.
All right, I went Boston because I think they're going to want to. This is their playoff stretch. Lewis, thanks for joining. Is that first time?
First time for Lewis.
I'm so excited. James went Milwaukee.
Lewis,
do you have a pick? Boston Celtics at the Milwaukee Bucks. You can let us know who you think's going to win that game. We can add you to our Sports Unfolded prediction chart.
Yep, we can add it to that list. I don't know. I was thinking maybe have some sort of a giveaway at the end of the year if one of the fans beat us. Both of us.
Ain't gonna beat me. No. Well, and at the end of the season, the loser has to.
Yeah.
So I've won a Red Sox cap. Ron has had to wear a Canadians cap.
Yeah, I still have that stupid thing. Too.
I already know, Ron, what I'm going to have you wear for the next one. And if you thought you hated the last one, just wait. Just wait. All right. Also, in the NBA on 4/10, you got the Minnesota Timberwolves at the Denver Nuggets. This game could be first place in the Western Conference. I went Denver here because I think they are not going to let this slip. They know how important home court's going to be for their attempt to repeat as champions.
Yeah, I'm going Denver. That's a big game. That is a big game. They want that first seed.
First place on the line. There's not a lot of games left, so you definitely want to win.
James went Denver. Come on, Lewis. Let's get some picks up there and some votes.
NHL action. NHL action. Tomorrow you got the Florida Panthers at the Boston Bruins. Ron, what do you got?
I'm going Boston. Wow. Look. They beat them last time in Florida, and now Florida's going to be coming. I think the Bruins got themselves in the right direction right now, and they know this is a big game. They need to make sure that they can win this game. I'm going Boston at home.
James went Boston as well. I went Florida, and I think Florida is still going to show that they got the muscle. Keep that in the back of Boston's mind going into the playoffs. Also in the NHL, 4/7, you got the Dallas Stars at the Colorado Avalanche. This is for first place as well. In the division. I went Colorado. Here at home.
Yeah, I'm also going Colorado at home. It's been a very odd season in the West because as soon as somebody takes that first spot, they go into a tailspin, and then somebody else comes up. So Colorado, Vancouver, and Dallas have been flip-flopping for so long now. So I'm going to go Colorado. It's their turn.
James, you have a pick there? Dallas at Colorado. NHL, 4/7. You might have lost James. Or he's looking
he's
for
probably looking for an
avalanche
emoji.
The little emoji. Colorado, James. All right. April 5th, tonight, number 1, Iowa versus number 3, UConn. Final 4. Ron, who do you got?
I'm going Iowa. I think she gets it done.
Caitlin Clark, I agree. I think too many injuries for UConn. I'd love to see UConn do it and pull it off. I just think Iowa, she's on a mission right now. You score 41 points against LSU, who beat you. Yeah, James, I agree. I just think it's her time. She knows how important it is to win this, Caitlin Clark. So tomorrow, men's NCAA action. You got number 11 NC State versus number 1 Purdue.
I think Purdue, like James said earlier, they're a buzzsaw, and they're going to take care of business.
I would love to see Purdue in the finals. You'll see who my next winner is too, because I think that's going to be such a great men's final. I went Purdue.
Yeah,
I went Purdue as well. Also tomorrow night, number 4 Alabama versus number 1 UConn. Again, trying to go back to back. I went UConn.
I did as well. I think they're just too good. They're too good. And UConn, Purdue finals. I mean, I'm not one to always pick
James.
number 1 seeds, but in this case, it is warranted.
James, UConn by 30. I will say this before we go on to our last two. Very interesting.
Could be right.
Very interesting, Ron. 2004. Men, women's champions, UConn.
Yeah.
2014. Champions, men, women, UConn. I think we're in a 4 this year, 2024. Could it happen again? That would be
if it does, that's crazy.
Right? 3 times in 10 years.
That's crazy.
That they would be back, both champions at the same time. Interesting stat. April 7th, Ron, you got the Cookout 400 in Martinsville. We need a top 5 driver.
Yeah, I do.
You've been doing really great.
You got one?
I could tell you mine, but I think you may want to go.
I know who you're going to go with, but I'm going to go with Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson. That's a good one.
Yeah, you're going to go Bell.
It's Ron's. Okay. No, I went Denny Hamlin.
Oh, okay.
Denny Hamlin. He's actually had a bunch of top 5 finishes at Martinsville. James Elliott.
Got Chase Elliott.
All right. Chase Elliott for James.
I wonder if his real name is Elliott Chase.
I think kind of cool chase, right? For a racer. But you don't want to be chasing. You'd rather be in front. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be better to be like front Elliott?
Yeah, that would be much better.
Chase Elliott. I'm just saying. Maybe they're chasing Elliott because he's in front. That makes sense now. All right. Ron, Major League Baseball, my friend, is back. April 5th tonight. Arizona Diamondbacks at the Atlanta Braves. 3-game series. Who wins the series?
I'm taking Atlanta. It's in Atlanta. I'm taking 2 out of 3.
I went the Braves as well. I just think Arizona had their run last year. I don't see them doing the same thing this year.
Well, they got a guy.
They got a guy. They did. James.
When is he going to be playing?
So that is our prediction segment. Again, you can join us live every Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and give us your picks. Again, WDJY in Atlanta. If you are listening to us after and you want to give us comments, any games that haven't happened, you can give us picks and we'll add you to our chart as well. Really excited about that. Ron, before we get into our final thoughts, can you tell all the wonderful people out there how they can sponsor our show and continue to help us grow now that we have a possibility of over 350 ears on us every single week as well?
Absolutely, I can do that. It's the least I could do, right? So it's simple. All you have to do is just send us an email to this address right here, ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. We can send you out all the information, that you need. I'd get on it because, we're going to be on the radio, and of course, we're going to be soaring up those ratings charts. And there's going to be people knocking on the door. It might not be so cheap then. So you might want to get on this right now.
Thousands of eyes, thousands of ears.
Yep.
On your business.
So-
You're right above us, right there.
So
on our
right
banner.
now, it costs less than going to your local coffee shop, getting a large coffee and a chocolate frosted donut.
Well, yeah, and the frosting, is expensive. So, Ron, you are first this week. Can you grace us with your final thoughts? Doesn't necessarily have to be sports related. It could be about anything going on in the world today. What do you
All right,
have?
so I have two of them, Eric.
Holy cow! Whoa! All right.
No, not really two of them, but one of them is I just want to acknowledge Jason McCoy. So giving him a shout out. He watched and commented on the NBA show with you and Kenny. And I figured I'd just throw his name out there. Thank you for watching the show.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it.
So just keep watching, keep commenting. We see you. We see you. But my final thought, I mentioned it earlier. It's this whole Shohei Ohtani thing. All right, first is the gambling thing. Now it's about a ball. He hit a home run, his first as a Dodger, so hey, big deal, right? But he wanted the ball, and so the LA Dodgers apparently put a lot of pressure on the girl to give the ball back.
There was a couple.
And there's even some possible threats being thrown her way.
What I was heard is they split them in different rooms.
Yeah, and
Like an interrogation.
he came out and said he talked to her and blah, 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 worked out a deal, blah, blah. But according to her, he never talked to her and basically lied about it. And, it doesn't seem like it's a big deal, but do you see not a spiraling thing here happening?
Like a trend happening.
It's like you're in the Angels organization. None of this surfaced because you know why? Nobody cared about the Angels.
Wow.
Nobody cared.
Wow.
So you don't notice these things. Now that you're in the Dodgers organization, you're seeing these. It's only the first couple of weeks, and there's already been two things with Shohei Ohtani. How much can this team take?
Yeah.
And they're shooting themselves in the foot to go along with it. I think this season could spiral out of control for both Ohtani and the Dodgers.
Still in first right now, so let's see.
Yeah.
But great final thought. That was amazing. My final thought is actually for one Mr. James, and that's not LeBron. It's Bronny. He's decided to enter the 2024 NBA draft while keeping his eligibility and entering the transfer portal. So he can either go to another school or, if depending on where he's drafted, go to the NBA. I understand he had a health scare early in the year, right? And again, finally got cleared and is able to play. But 14.8 points per game, 2.8 rebounds, and 2.1 assists in 19 minutes per game does not sound like NBA ready to me. And LeBron came out and said he's his own man, can make his own decisions. As a father, I would suggest that maybe you talk to him, knowing the competition you play in currently and the people you play with, that he's not NBA ready.
That's not good.
Right? He needs to get more time in college, a full season, a full healthy season, and be able to grow in that atmosphere before he decides to jump to the NBA. Again, I hope he decides to stick it out, go to college, go to another school. Hey, Kentucky needs some people to go to use that transfer portal. Maybe Kentucky. I don't know. But again, Bronny, I would sit back and probably say not a good idea to go to the NBA right now. So hopefully he doesn't do that.
He's clearly not ready. Look, in order for you to make that jump, Eric, you have to be dominating, right? You have to be dominating. If you're not dominating any league and you expect to go do it in the NBA, well, I got some news for you. It's a lot tougher than what you think it is. And those players that are just average in the leagues that they're in, whether it's college or, some pro league out in Europe, if you're just average in those leagues, you are not making it in the NBA. You got to be better.
Well, the kicker is, Ron, think if he talked to somebody that's actually playing in the NBA. I think he may know somebody that plays in the league that may be able to tell him, like, hey, it's a little tough. It's not that easy. But again, that's really up for them to make that decision.
No, because he wants to play with his son.
I don't think
so. He wants him to come out.
Do you think
he's gonna look? He's gonna put pressure on a team, right? You think? Okay, suppose somebody drafts him. Thinking, all right, if I draft him, I'll get LeBron.
Said he's staying with the Lakers. I don't know. I think the Lakers would have to draft him.
Yeah, he's putting pressure on them. They got to draft Bronny in order for him to stay.
Transfer portal.
That's what he's doing.
Go to college. Go to another team. Go to UConn. That'd be kind of cool to have him down here in Connecticut. All right, Ron, that has been our show tonight. I want to thank you for a wonderful show. I want to thank all of our new listeners on WDJY in Atlanta, listening to us on Saturday nights at 1 p.m. So excited about that. All of our fans that have joined us live, James, always amazing. Lewis, our first time, and then Coachy as well tonight. Thank you for joining us. Again, if you'd like to watch us live every Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rhode Island Broadcasting, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. So many different ways you can watch us or listen to us on all our social media platforms on your favorite podcast channel. So again, so much you can do. And then continue to follow and share us. And let's get a sponsor for Sports Unfolded, because it is time to get hundreds of thousands of eyes and ears on your business and help us grow. So, Ron, I will see you next Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm sure we're going to have tons of live audience members as well, because we are growing every single day. Thank you all for the support. Ron, I will see you next Friday night. And all we have asked for every single show is peace on earth.
Have a great night, everybody.